Hey everyone, so in today's video we are going to go over the top 10 best building games on Roblox. I'm very excited to do this actually, so let's get right into it. Number 10. Factory Town. Factory Town is a fun building game where you collect materials and then create your own conveyors and belts, and you create your own storage space and stuff like that, and then you make beds, pianos, whatever you can create at the time, and you sell them in the city and get more money, and then you can basically make more stuff and collect more stuff, and at one point you can also start growing your own trees, so you have an automatic tree farm. It's basically a bit like Lumber Tycoon, just a little bit toned down and more tycoon-like. What I like about this game is that you really have to think about the mathematics of stuff and just like how you will connect the conveyor belts so that is the best way to create stuff. Because for motors, for example, you need different types of stuff, and then you need to make your conveyors work so that you can easily create a motor from them. So definitely a lot of fun trying to figure out stuff. There's also walls you can build, and yeah, it's an entire system that you can create. Number 9. Water Park World. So Water Park World is one of these games that is very chill to play and can be a little bit addictive. So in this game you make your own swimming pool. The more customers come, the more money you will get. You can create your own food stalls. But the most fun part for me is of course the slides that you can create. And yes, you can create terrible slides that kill people if you want to, but I don't think that's the point of the game. The point of the game is to create the best water park that you can. You can have mountains with slides on them and stuff like that, and it's really quite expansive to go around. You can create underground stuff. It's just like a chill game where you can go to and create your own magic water park. Number 8. Whatever floats your boat. So Whatever Floats Your Boat is one of those fun mini games, but there's a lot more to it than just being a mini game. So what you do is you create your own boat, and then after some time, a tsunami will come and make the water raise up, and you need to protect your boat from threats like other players, because other players will be able to kill you when the tsunami comes, and if you survive the tsunami, then you will get points and money from that. And with that money, you can build a better boat, get better materials. So you start out with wood, and then the more you progress, the stronger materials you can get, the more you can protect your boat. And of course, you can save your boat and load them in and continue building on them if you want to, but make sure to protect yourself and survive the tsunami, because that's the whole point of the game. You can kill other players, you can add motors so you can drive around your own boat during the tsunami. It's quite fun, and there's a lot of detail to the game that you can add. Number 7. Row Citizens. As I was making this list, I thought I would have put Row Citizens a lot higher, but then thinking about it, I don't know, there's something holding me back. So with Row Citizens, it's a house building game, so that's a lot of fun and you can get furniture and stuff like that, but the build mode is a little bit hard to use and you need to constantly go into your inventory and buy stuff beforehand and then place them instead of just like buying and placing right away. You have to actually think about what you want to buy. And also the houses that you can get are pre-built, so the only thing you can basically do is decorate. But the most fun for me in Row Citizens is building apartments, because that's something we don't have in other games really, and you can add a lot of stuff to that. The thing I hate about Row Citizens the most is the proportions in the game. Like, the proportions just don't match up. Some plants are as tall as the chairs, for example, and then the beds are really off size, and the computers as well. So it's not a realistic building game, but it's a fun game to start with. And if you're not really into building that much, it's nice to have a shelf or a house that you can already build in, and you already have a house that you can decorate. The fun part about this is that you can lock your house so that other people cannot enter, so you can lock or open your doors depending on your mood or what you want to do in the game. Number 6. Theme Park Tycoon 2. So Theme Park Tycoon 2 is also made by Dennis, the same person who made a Water Park World, but I do think Theme Park Tycoon 2 has a lot more detail and a lot more stuff to it than Water Park World. It is also a lot older, and I feel like their focus is mainly based on Theme Park Tycoon and not Water Park World. So you have a lot of things that you can do. So basically in Theme Park Tycoon, you create your own theme park and you make sure that you have enough customers, because customers bring money to the game. The fun part about this is that if you build a roller coaster, for example, you can go in into it and actually ride it if you want, and that's just so much fun to me. They keep adding new coasters and rides, so definitely still gets updated a lot. You can also create your own natural scenes, so mountains and rivers and ponds and stuff like that. You are free to do whatever you want basically, and there's a lot of detail you can add to the game, and it's just fun to create your own little theme park in Roblox. And another thing I must say about Theme Park Tycoon and Water Park World is that building is very easy and making money is not too hard as well, but buying money is so cheap. So if you have a lot of Robux and you want to spend some Robux on those games, it's really cheap to buy some money and just continue building whatever you want to build without having to wait for more money to come in. So that's a really good thing. Number 5. Build a boat for treasure. So you might think, why is Build a Boat for Treasure so high in this list? But this game actually has a really good building system. So what you do in Build a Boat for Treasure is, again, like whatever floats your boat, but different. You build your own boat or whatever you want to build. You can even build planes now, if I'm correct. Like you can fly boats and stuff like that now. And what you do is you build a strong boat and make sure that you get as far as possible into the levels. So there's levels for each section, and going through them, your boat will be attacked and destroyed. And you need to make sure to get as far as possible, possibly reach the end if you can. It's a little bit like Minecraft where you place blocks. If you get money, you can buy chests and you will get blocks from those chests. And every single block has a different purpose, so you need to look that up. So it's really intrusive and you need to like look stuff up before you can get better at the game, which is a lot of fun for me. There's also like blocks that keep your boat straight on whatever position it is. It goes back to the straight position you wanted it in, and there's just a lot of detail to it, and you need to like really look up what each block does and just build your own block thingy. So you have the freedom to build anything you like because it's just blocks that you add to your build. And then of course, using your creation to see how strong it actually is and how well it's keeping up is a lot of fun. But sometimes it can be a little bit boring to wait and see how far your boat gets, especially like if you get better at the game and your boat is still slow, like you don't have rockets or something like that. It can take a really long time for it to complete its run and you getting your money. So that's the thing to keep in mind as well. It's like a time-consuming game. But you can save your boats and reload them. Number 4. Retail Tycoon 2. So after the first Retail Tycoon, which was already really good, they brought out a Retail Tycoon 2, and it hasn't been as popular because I do think it's still paid access, but it's a really expansive game as well. The difference between Retail Tycoon and Retail Tycoon 2 is that you actually have to go and get the stuff for your store at a warehouse, which is a lot of fun, so you can get bigger trucks, and then the bigger your truck is, the more stuff you can bring to your store, and it's just a fun game to build and create. There's not too much in the game yet, but they are definitely working on it, and it's very promising, and it's just so much fun to have your own store and sell your stuff and then see customers like buy stuff. And the first comments you get, like when your store is still really empty and bad, like the comments you get like, I'm never coming here again, stuff like that. I think it's really fun to just explore and find out things that you can build, and it's just like a store game and you can build your own store, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. And you're definitely constantly doing something. If it's not restocking stuff or hiring employees, you are going around finding things on the map and just exploring, visiting other people's store to get inspiration, and yeah, definitely a lot that you can do. Number 3. Rowville. So Rowville is one of those games that I was really skeptical about when it came out. I was like, okay, yeah, this is just another copy of Bloxburg. This is never going to be good. And there are still things that aren't good. It is a house building game, so same thing as with Bloxburg. You work, you build your house, but they added so much to the game that it actually became a really good game, and it's very promising to see what will happen to it in the future. I'm very excited for that game. So the proportions are still a bit off. That's something they need to work on. Sometimes the chairs are as high as the doors and stuff like that, but the house building got so much better. And the fact that you can have a business at home where people actually come to and buy stuff is so cool, and I kind of like the map as well. And they are definitely doing their best to make this game unique and bring people back to it, and I feel like they are really succeeding at it. They are adding stuff that we've been asking in Bloxburg for years, and yet still they managed to do it. It might not be as good as in Bloxburg, we don't know, as it's not added into the game, like having a business at home, but it's definitely promising, and I kinda am starting to like Rowville more and more every time I play. And the game is free to play, so you don't have to pay to get in. Number 2. Lumber Tycoon. So, Lumber Tycoon is an oldie but goldie. Lumber Tycoon is one of those tycoon games where there's so much more to it, and there's an entire community for it that is just gets so addictive to play the game, and you definitely want to like have a base set up and stuff like that. So, in Lumber Tycoon, you collect wood from anywhere on the map, so there's different types of wood that you can collect. You build your own base, you can have conveyors, you can save up for stuff, you can get better axes, there's secret axes that you can make, and there's just so much detail to it, and the fact that you can go and get your own wood from somewhere, collect it in your car, and just drive it back to your plot. It's just something that is so much fun and so much cooler than those random tycoon games where you get a backpack and fill your backpack with 10 items or something like that and then have to refill it. We had too much of those games, and Lumber Tycoon just stays one of those really good games, and you can learn a lot more about different types of wood. Also, some axes work better on different types of wood, so it's definitely one of those games that is really thought about, and base building is so much fun. And when you need a certain type of material, actually going out with your car, collecting the wood and driving back to your plot is just something that we don't see anymore in newer Roblox games, and I kind of miss that because it makes a tycoon really good that you actually have to go out and collect your own stuff and not just wait for other people to bring it to you or NPCs to bring it to you. Number 1, Bloxburg. So, there is no surprise here, but Bloxburg is still my favorite building game on Roblox, and I don't know, Bloxburg, it takes a while sometimes to get updates, but when we get an update, they got everything right, from the sizing of objects to how they look and how they feel, and everything just feels so coherent in the game that there's just no denying that Bloxburg is one of the best worked out building games on Roblox, and that's why it's so popular as well. It's just like everything matches in the style of the game, or mostly everything. There's some trees that I still hate and don't get how they got into the game, but everything else just has like the Bloxburg style, the typical Bloxburg style, and they did really well on getting that right. However, I do feel like the map got a little bit boring over time. Well, not a little bit, actually a lot. So we do need some new stuff in the game, and it may be getting old a little bit, so definitely waiting for that new map to happen. But the building aspect of the game is really fun, and you also get money by working and leveling up, and the more you work, the more money you will get, of course, so that's a lot of fun as well. But when it comes to building, there's just so much you can do now, especially with the structural items. You can create your own shapes, your own houses, maybe an apartment even that's 5 stories tall, so definitely a lot of things that you can do before you get bored. However, for me, there is no real challenge to Bloxburg anymore, but that's maybe because I played it too much. But it is still my number 1. So that's my top. If you have a top that you want to share, you can always put it in the comments below. That was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, and please subscribe.